Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 59th episode of PRPOI Live. Today, we are going to talk about something that concerns us across the nation. What is it? Localizing PR reach. It's something that we all think about a lot today. Tier 3 city PR is the ace we usually add to all our campaigns when we want to add more ground level visibility to them. And in the last 2, 3 years, this market has gone through a sea change. The media landscape has changed, the deliverables have changed, client expectations have changed. So I think today what we are going to talk about is what does it take to create a successful PR campaign in this region, and what are the changes that we must make a note of. So today I have two very seasoned professionals joining me for this live. We have Shailesh Goyal, founder, director, Simulations, Public Affairs, Management Services Private Limited from Ahmedabad, and Sandeep Khadekar, founder, Hush Communication from Indore. A big shout out as always to my content curators, Tarunjit Ratan and Pooja Trehan. Um, we're going to introduce our two panelists to you now, and we are going to know a little more about their journey and get to know how they can advise us to successfully conduct the best regional PR campaigns. Getting on for you, Shailesh Goyal and Sandeep.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm going to begin with the brief introductions for both of you, and thank you both of you for taking out the time today for joining us. So, Shailesh, I'm going to begin with you. If you can tell us a little about your journey in these past few years and how you managed to set up such a wide network for regional PR, it will be really interesting for us to hear.
Thank you, Sonali. It is really a pleasure and delight to be here today. I have always been in the media marketing game from the beginning. After completing my MBA, I got into the media marketing with Times of India Group. And after having spent about 5 years there and another 3 years with India Today Group, and then I was Torrent Pharma Group's PR manager. So that gave me some kind of insight and strength also to start my own consultancy, because I saw a vacuum in this part of the city where the independent PR consultancy was not there, and advertising agencies were doubling up as PR agencies. Okay. So I started in 2000, but it's जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, योग अनुयोग. Incidentally, the the earthquake and riots happened in 2001 and 2002, and which kind of a sort of disappointment for me to get into this particular consultancy career. But also, as they say, the opportunity in adversity. So I also found the lot of requests coming up. Somebody suggested my name and to liaise with the government or the rehabilitation work of the earthquake. So I started getting into that slot, and it gave me a lot of opportunities to interact with the government and bureaucracy, and also the corporates. So it helped me to build the relationship with the media, with the
मेरा
public, and also with the liaison with the government. Okay. And then there was no looking back, and a tie-up with Genesis Bus and Marcel happened, and they took us as exclusive affiliate for a longer period. And also, they started giving us for the different regions like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Central Gujarat, now correct. So that gave us opportunity to expand the network also. And side by side, it was a principal to principal arrangement. So we actually uh, kept on picking up our own clients also. So some kind of confidence came, and since then there is no looking back. So over a period, we added more divisions in last 5 years. We have also added digital division. The event management teams also we have added, because knowingly unknowingly we were ending up doing a lot of support for the event also. Projection system lagwa do, stage wala bulwa do, side wala bulwa do. We thought might as well take this as a additional career opportunity for our company. And then today we have a strong presence for the all these three domains, digital also, and as well into the event management also. Of course, the prime revenue or the bread remains the public relations. Yes. And it is also helping us to give a better package as long as they
Clients.
and we pitch to
Thank you
client.
so much, Shailesh ji. That's very interesting, and we're going to come back to your digital division also very soon. But right now, I'd like to ask Sandeep ji if you can share with us आपका career कैसे शुरू हुआ, आपने how
जी
did you establish this?
हेलो
If you can tell us a little, हाँ जी,
जी नमस्कार
नमस्कार.
जी मैंने भी 12 साल पहले पीआर इंडस्ट्री में आया था मैं अतुल मलिकराम जी के यहाँ से मैंने काम सीखा था हेलो
हाँ जी, we can hear you.
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी बस ऐसे करते करते इंडस्ट्री में थोड़ी पहचान बनाई है संघर्ष करा थोड़ा और यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि और बेहतर से बेहतर कर पाए हम जी
ओके, थैंक यू संदीप जी. मैं विदाउट फर्दर अडू कुछ आपसे सवाल करूंगी बिकॉज आई थिंक हमारी
जी
ऑडियंस भी बहुत एंक्शियस है ये जानने के लिए. सो
जी जी जी
ये मैं आपसे पूछूंगी शैलेश जी, आपके आपके हिसाब से, क्योंकि आपने इतने साल पहले ये शुरू करा और आपके टाई अप जैसे आप बता रहे हैं होते रहे, तो ये इंडस्ट्री डेवलप कैसे हुई है कुछ सालों में? क्योंकि पहले रीजनल पीआर का इतना स्कोप नहीं था और आज के दिन हम देखते हैं कि हर ब्रांड के लिए रीजनल पीआर चाहिए. तो आप इस पे थोड़ा हमें बताएंगे कि कैसे चेंज हुआ है सब कुछ इंडस्ट्री में?
So the tier 2 tier 3 city penetration started with a lot of like automobile industry. They started launching the models, new models of the car, new models of the vehicles, and likewise the telecom industry, which expanded in the country. So they were having state-wise circles, different operators. Same way, like the banking and finance industry, where the branches started coming up, new private players started coming, like in the insurance, in the banking sector, all. So the when they were hiring the larger multinational consultancies or the national agencies, there were always requirement for people, for them to announce the what I suggested, all these things at the whichever city they started to going actually, and that's how the regional centers also started becoming strong. And over a period of time, the knowledge of importance of the regional media also grew in the both the side client side as well as the agency side, the larger agency side, and they realized that if we have to connect with the audiences there, we have to have a different mindset and different ball game altogether. So the regional market grew, and today, as you see, even the tier 3 or tier 4 cities are becoming important for the last mile connectivity. Yes.
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड संदीप जी, अगर आप मुझे बताएंगे कि जैसे हम देखते हैं कि मेट्रो सिटीज में मीडिया का एक बिहेवियर होता है, आपके
हम्म
अनुसार टीयर 2 सिटी में जाके या टीयर 3 सिटी में जाके, जैसे शैलेश जी बता रहे थे, मार्केट कैसे चेंज होता है, मीडिया का बिहेवियर कैसे चेंज होता है?
मीडिया थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट तो रहता ही है हाँ पर थोड़ा सा दिक्कत देता है मीडिया वहाँ पर काम करने में थोड़ा सा मीडिया को इनविटेशन देते हैं बुलाते हैं जब तो कुछ आता है कुछ नहीं आता है ऐसा है
तो आपके अनुसार वो कैसे चेंज हो जाते हैं? क्या वो ज्यादा मुश्किल होते हैं बात करने के लिए, या उनको बहुत ज्यादा मार्केटिंग मैंडेट्स होते हैं? अगर आप उस पर थोड़ा सा लाइट शेड कर सकते हैं.
यानी पहले दिक्कत आती थी अब थोड़ा सा मीडिया पर्सनली अच्छा व्यवहार करता है तो हो जाता है वो काम इसमें मीडिया आ जाता है उसमें उनको अलग थोड़ा सा बातचीत करके बुला सकते हैं उसको
ओके, ऑलराइट, थैंक यू. अब मेरे एक्चुअली क्वेश्चंस ऑलरेडी ऑडियंस से आने शुरू हो गए, और एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग ऑडियंस है जो हर पीआर पर्सन के लिए बहुत जरूरी होता है, तो मैं ये शैलेश जी से पूछूंगी. What is a realistic expectation to set in today's market for your city? आपको क्या लगता है कि आजकल जो रियलिस्ट एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं क्लाइंट्स की, हम देखते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा, स्पेशली इतना ज़्यादा प्रेशर है, इतना ज़्यादा कंपटीशन है, तो आपके मुताबिक क्या है रियलिस्टिक एक्सपेक्टेशन? क्योंकि मीडिया भी तो कितना बदल गया है कोविड के बाद.
That's so I would say that there is a shift from relations to the knowledge based, merit based announcements and information passing on. And otherwise, what happens is the agency based stories they always get, and every regional newspaper also is subscribing to them. So if there is a launch or if there is an announcement in, let's say, any of the metro city, it percolates down to them, and half of the time they always translate it and always might have already used it actually. So the question always comes, ki, what's in it for me? What is the regional connect? Is there any additional local impact? Like for if there are marketing announcement, they say there are there specific schemes for this particular region, or how do we go about it? So this is they are looking for the regional connect or the local connect for them, and if they find, then they are able to oblige you basis the merit of the content or merit of the announcement also. But yes, post COVID, the things have changed. There's revenue driven models who have seeped in into the media, and media dynamics also has changed completely. So they are they're used to, if there is a large advertiser client, they will always oblige with the press releases and all. Now they are looking at the press release announcements also as a source of revenue for them. So this practice is also now taking uh, you know getting prominence, and the media owners or the media editors, they are encouraging ki, why don't you put it as a paid content announcement or that sort of thing. So barring the large which are merger acquisitions or that kind of announcements, it happens that you get acceptability challenges out of the same thing.
Okay, that's very interesting, Shailesh. I think Sandeep has some network issues, so I'm sorry, I'm going to trouble you a little more.
Please continue.
So, one thing I want to understand from you is ki, what do you think are some of the rules? And this somebody has asked us from the audience, and it's a nice question. हर मीडिया से बात करने के लिए there are some rules, there are some ways we communicate in with magazines or business media. So what are these rules we should know? What are these rules a young PR professional today should know when talking to regional media?
So, the first of all is that they should understand the functioning of the media. Okay, there are hierarchies, there are timings. Every newspaper has their own, operating cycle of the day as well as. So, the timings are important, and also if they understand the hierarchy, it will help them to talk to the relevant people at the relevant time. And then I have sent it, have you received it? This kind of conversation they don't like actually. So if there is invitations, that's follow-ups may be encouraged actually. But otherwise, if you have additional, if you are able, if you come across as a knowledgeable person while talking to them, they will respect you, and they will expect next time also they will accept your call. Otherwise, if you say sir dekh lena sir kar denge sir, so it may comes ki over a period they will start declining your calls, or they will not accept you also. So what happens is when the newcomers come, and the senior just give him the number and tell him कि उसके बात कर लेना. No, that's not enough. You have to give enough background to them actually, and how to talk, and how to bring the context, and then request for the piece of information which you want to share actually. So a little bit of homework is required on both sides, and understanding of the functioning of the media as well. And then they should not assume that कि ठीक है, ये तो छोटे शहर का मीडिया है, ऐसे कैसे भी बात कर सकते हैं, है ना? तो स्ट्रेट अवे यू कैन नॉट सर, और सर कैसे हैं आप? अगर आपसे पहले मुलाकात नहीं हुई है, तो कैसे आपको, यू हैव टू स्पेंड मोर टाइम ऑन इंट्रोड्यूसिंग योरसेल्फ रादर देन asking him the questions actually. And then respect them, and do come across, definitely as a professional you should come across with professionalism. Relations over a period you will build, then you can be little informal, but don't do it at the start.
Very, very valuable advice, and some of it is valid, I think, for all media people, not just regional media. So thank you, शैलेश जी. संदीप जी, मैं आपसे एक सवाल करना चाहती हूँ. हमारे को ये
जी
brief जाती है कि एक लोकल पर्सन अगर हो आपके साथ, तो मीडिया आपसे, रीजनल मीडिया स्पेशली आपको ज़्यादा वेलकम करेगा या आपसे बेटर बात करेगा। तो ये सच है कि, क्योंकि कई बार हमें लगता है अगर हम दिल्ली या बॉम्बे या कहीं से फ़ोन करेंगे उनको, एक तो हम शायद लैंग्वेज की भी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है कई बार। तो क्या ये
हम्म।
फ़र्क पड़ता है कि पर्सन का प्रेजेंस उनको ज़्यादा अच्छा लगता है, या अगर आप उनको पर्सनली जाके मिले उनके ऑफिसेज से और फोन और ईमेल पे इतना ना डिपेंड करें, तो उससे कोई फर्क पड़ता है?
नहीं, फर्क तो नहीं पड़ता। अब जैसे कोई क्लाइंट आता है कि चलो हमको मीडिया राउंड करवा दो, तो मीडिया मिलने के लिए थोड़ा सा नाटक करता है, मीडिया मिलता नहीं है उनसे, ऐसा रहता है उसमें।
ऐसा क्यों है?
बाकी
ऐसा
नहीं,
क्यों होता है? क्योंकि
एक तो टाइम भी दे नहीं पाती मीडिया, और बोलते कि भैया तुमने हम तुम्हारे को जानते ही है, तुमने भेज दिया है, हम आ जाएंगे, कर लेंगे जो भी होगा, वेरी वे। तो वो थोड़ी सी दिक्कत आती है, पर क्लाइंट फोर्स करता है कि हमको मीडिया से मिला दो, जरा मीडिया राउंड करवा दो, बात ये है।
बेसिकली वो रिलेशनशिप ड्रिवन है और उनको रिलेशनशिप्स पसंद होते, मतलब एक बार उनका आपके साथ एक रिलेशनशिप बन जाता
कनेक्ट
है
हो
तो
जाता
वो
है,
एक
हाँ।
अनजान इंसान के साथ उनको इतना नहीं रैपो बन पाता, राइट?
जी जी जी।
I would like to add there, Sonali,
हाँ जी।
what you said is correct. Actually, the acquaintance is there, and they always welcome the people who are known to them. And what happens is when you are trying to take the client or the principal agency persons to media round, see, on their part, they are probably right that they want to give more information and explain probably so that the editors can appreciate it better. बट इफ यू आस्क मी, उनके जाने के बाद वो बोलेंगे यार ये सब ज्ञानबाजी के लिए मेरे पास मत लेके आया करो। तो उनको ऐसा रहता है कि दे नो एवरीथिंग। So they when somebody is taken to introduce or to meet them, and then obviously is inclined to give more information about what is for which he or she is there actually. So one way is to make a very short and brief introduction of self and probably subject. If you start giving, I mean, out of the good courtesy, they may listen to you, but probably it's not a desired thing for most of the editors, as we have also had experiences with the media rounds with the external communication people actually.
आई हैव अनदर क्वेश्चन टू आस्क आप दोनों से। हमको कई बार बोला जाता है कि प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बहुत अच्छा वर्क करती है रीजनल में, तो ये पोस्ट कोविड, लाइक हमने भी बहुत सारी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस करी हुई है इन स्मॉलर सिटीज। मीडिया आता है, उनको फोटो ऑप बहुत जरूरी होती है, फोटोग्राफर्स बहुत आते हैं, कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट्स आए ना आए, फोटोग्राफर्स आते हैं। तो कोविड के बाद ये कितना बदल चुका है सिनारियो आप लोगों के मुताबिक?
So I would like to differ there. Actually, we have seen the discouragement of the press conferences actually, and we are also agreeing with the thought. We have reduced a lot. A lot means a lot. अगर अगर पहले हम अगर एक क्वार्टर में 10 करते थे, प्रॉब्ली इस बार 2 या 3 करेंगे, because of the technology, things have become easy to converse, and they are open to have Zoom sessions if they find interesting personality to be talked to. Okay. And for the routine announcement, the press conferences are big no-no. Everywhere, the regional media also, I would say, the shortage of staff because of the cost concerns as well as the trained manpower resources. So they said नहीं भेज नहीं पाएंगे यार, आप भेज देना eventually. So it so happens that either you end up with only the category C or D representatives attending your conferences. Otherwise they don't feel that the time and energy and the money invested in the press conference is actually vasulofied. So they have to be very conscious in proposing and also looking at the outcomes of the thing. At the same time, if the half of the amount is invested judiciously, probably they can get a better and meaningful results, I would say. Yeah.
थैंक यू शैलेश जी, इंटरेस्टिंग। संदीप जी, मेरे को आपसे एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल करना है।
जी
आपके मुताबिक क्या, अब जैसे आप बोल रहे थे कि जैसे शैलेश जी भी बोल रहे हैं, तो और ये मेरे को एक ऑडियंस ने भी पूछा है कि अब हम देख रहे हैं कि डिजिट हर जगह डिजिटल हो गया है सब कुछ, हर जगह जूम ज्यादा चल रहा है। आपने भी बोला कि मीटिंग्स और कॉन्फ्रेंसेस किसी को इतना पसंद नहीं है, और
हम्म।
हमने देखा है कि प्रिंट के पेपर कम हो गए हैं हर जगह। तो आपके मुताबिक क्या हम ज्यादा डिजिटल हो गया है स्मॉल टाउन मीडिया भी, क्या उनके भी डिजिटल डिवीजन खुल गए हैं, क्या ज्यादा चीजें ऑनलाइन हो रही हैं?
डिजिटल तो हो गया है, बड़े बड़े अखबार, छोटे अखबार भी है, वो अपने पोर्टल पे आ गए हैं। पर जो छोटी जो कंपनियां हैं, उनको प्रिंट पेपर जरूरी चाहिए रहता है। बड़ी कंपनी तो नहीं मांगती है ज्यादा, पर वो छोटी कंपनियां जो हैं, उनको पेपर में छपना, खबर छपती है जब भी अच्छा लगता है उनको। तो डिजिटल तो है सर, डिजिटल चल रहा है, मार्केट जमाना डिजिटल का है, तो डिजिटल तो हर चीज हो ही गई है।
तो आप ऐसे क्लाइंट्स को कैसे हैंडल करते हैं? क्योंकि हम नोटिस कर रहे हैं कि मीडिया बहुत बदल गया है, पर क्लाइंट्स की बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशंस हो गई हैं, और जो आपने बोला और शैलेश जी ने बोला कि नए क्लाइंट्स जो आ गए हैं उनको बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं। सो तो आप लोगों के मुताबिक क्या आप लोग कैसे हैंडल करते हैं ऐसे सिचुएशन जब क्लाइंट बोलते हैं कि हमें हर पेपर में होना है, फ्रंट पेज पे होना है, ये तो छोटा शहर है, या तो हो जाना चाहिए। तो आप इन चीजों को कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
जैसे मेट्रो सिटी की बात अलग है, दिल्ली, मुंबई, कोलकाता, बेंगलोर, इनकी बात अलग है। यहाँ पे इतना डिजिटल अभी चलता नहीं है, यहाँ पर इतना है नहीं, इतना इधर के समझते नहीं लोग अभी ज्यादा। पर जो है वो चल रहा है, जो क्लाइंट जैसा बोलता है करना करवा देंगे, तो हम उनको सजेशन देते हैं कि प्रिंट का ही चल रहा है अभी थोड़ा बहुत यहाँ पे, डिजिटल ज्यादा नहीं है।
शैलेश जी, आपका क्या व्यू पॉइंट है? क्या डिजिटल आया है? क्योंकि मेरे हिसाब से जैसे दैनिक भास्कर ग्रुप है, दैनिक जागरण ग्रुप है, उन्होंने भी अपने काफी पोर्टल्स लॉन्च करे हुए, एटलीस्ट कोविड के पहले करे थे। आई डोंट नो अब क्या सिचुएशन है। तो
No, it is
ब्लॉगर्स भी नोटिस
yeah.
करें कि छोटे, एटलीस्ट मे बी नॉट इन टीयर 3 बट टीयर 2 में ब्लॉगर्स भी बहुत हो गए हैं अब। तो आपके मुताबिक क्या ये ट्रेंड आ गया है छोटे शहरों में भी और टीयर 2 में भी?
See, definitely आ गया है popularity of the digital editions or the online editions of the newspapers is now it has arrived and it's gained in even into tier 2 tier 3 cities. जो लिंक बेस्ड स्टोरी पढ़ने वाली बात जो है ना वो एक्चुअली एस्टेब्लिश हो रही है या हो गई है. At the same time, the print has not lost its the significance. There is a definite set of the age group of people who are still looking for print edition, and they tend to believe more in the print editions compared to the digital, because there are more than often the digital edition stories are revised or updated. So and also the circulated on WhatsApp with the वो जो बोलते हैं ना either नमक मिर्च के साथ और views and reviews के साथ. So this immediate purpose is solved if it is information about some accident or about some happenings and all. Otherwise, a large chunk of people still believe for the print edition to actually go for this. But I would still say that the digital acceptance has gone largely, and WhatsApp also has added, because the even the newspaper themselves are pushing into the WhatsApp of the large part of the masses. So the readability has gone up because of such moves. Yes.
मैं आपसे अभी एक सवाल करने वाली हूँ दोनों से, जो मेरे को एक दो मार्केटिंग हेड्स ने पूछा है और मैं आज तक आई हैव नॉट गॉट एन आंसर फॉर। तो ये सवाल ये है कि कोई ऐसे पेपर्स होते हैं जो हर हाउस होल्ड में जाते हैं, हमारे मार्केटिंग लिंगो में होता है कि ये एसईसी ए हाउस होल्ड है, ये एसईसी बी है, एसईसी सी है। पर क्या ये चीजें हम मेट्रो सिटीज में फिर भी हम डिवाइड कर सकते हैं? क्या हम टीयर 2 और टीयर 3 सिटीज में रीजनल मीडिया में भी हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि ये जो पेपर है ये लैंग्वेज पेपर हो सकता है? जैसे आप देख लें, एक पंजाब केसरी होता है या दैनिक जागरण होता है, हो सकता है कि वो लैंग्वेज पेपर हो, पर वो कहते हैं ना कि जो नब्ज है शहर की, जो खबरें हैं, वो ये पेपर तो हर घर में जाना चाहिए। तो ऐसे कुछ पब्लिकेशंस होते हैं जो हमारे को एज पीआर प्रोफेशनल्स हमेशा अपने रेडार पे रखने चाहिए।
There is no such thing. There is a single paper which is circulated amongst all population of or the same. Uh, in every city almost there will be at least two, and generally three papers, and they have their own group or the audiences which they are catering to actually. And in most of the towns I have seen that some are urban centric, others are more facile area centric, and okay. So both are required, both are important, and one has to reach to both two or three at least, and even in the certain categories of products which are FMCG or say, for them even a small paper which is even having probably 500 or 5,000 circulation in specific pockets, they are also equally important because they want to reach to everyone. Even if a laborer sitting on a chai ki ketli, if he's reading a small paper, they want to reach out to him. For example, we are servicing a client called Paytm. So for them, every smallest newspaper is important because they want that everybody should be able to use Paytm in one way or other for one need or other actually. So having said that, yes, one cannot depend on that there's one single paper which is catering to almost everybody in any town or households actually.
संदीप जी, कई बार बहुत रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं पूरी दुनिया से कि प्रिंट मीडिया बहुत कम हो रहा है, सब लोग डिजिटल पढ़ रहे हैं, पर क्या आपको लग रहा है कि रीजनल सिटीज में प्रिंट मीडिया बढ़ रहा है? नए नए अखबार आ रहे हैं, नए मैगजीन्स छप रहे हैं। मैंने नोटिस करा है जैसे पंजाब में नई नई मैगजीन्स आ रही हैं, राजस्थान में मैंने नोटिस करे हैं कि एक दो नई मैगजीन्स आई हैं, और ये सब प्रिंट एडिशंस हैं। तो क्या आपके मुताबिक नए मैगजीन्स, नए पेपर अब बढ़ रहे हैं टियर टू सिटीज में?
No, I won't agree to that actually. And if there are any specific segment, specifics are coming, they have very limited audiences actually, or they are purpose oriented. If they want to make quick money by showing that we are coming out with these or quick. Otherwise, there is a declining trend of the print order worldwide, you can say probably, and in the country we all know that every city there are hawkers which are proving the print orders pre and post COVID also. So again, I'm not saying that they are not significant. They will continue to be significant, and but the readership is consolidated actually now. The print readership is very consolidated now, and there are specific segment or targeted age group people who are still glued to that, and they will remain probably at least next 5 years.
संदीप जी, आपको लगता है कि अब ब्लॉगर्स बढ़ रहे हैं हर शहर में? ब्लॉगर्स, आप ब्लॉगर्स के साथ काम करने लगे हैं साहब?
करते तो है, पर ये मेट्रो सिटी में ही है, वो छोटे छोटे शहरों में नहीं है वो, उसका चलन अभी वो बड़े शहरों
तो
में ही है वो।
आपको क्या लगता है कि एक पीआर कैंपेन जब हम बनाते हैं टियर टू या टियर थ्री के लिए, हमें ब्लॉगर्स को ऐड रखना चाहिए उसमें, या उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, या उनकी भी फॉलोइंग नहीं होती?
नहीं, रखना चाहिए क्योंकि धीरे धीरे उसी पे डिजिटल का जमाना है, तो उस पे जाना है, तो वो आगे उसके लिए काम करना पड़ेगा उसके लिए। अभी हालांकि यहाँ के लोग समझते नहीं है ज्यादा, ब्लॉगर डिजिटल पे, प्रिंट पर ही ज्यादा फोकस है थोड़ा सा।
शैलेश जी, आप अपने क्लाइंट्स को कैसे एडवाइस करते हैं सक्सेसफुल कैंपेन? क्या एक फेस्टिवल सीजन में ज्यादा अच्छा रहता है एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस या एक प्रेस रिलीज निकालना? क्या उसका, जैसे आपने बोला लोकल कनेक्ट, तो क्या एक जैसे बड़ी नेशनल न्यूज है या एक नया एक बड़ा लॉन्च है किसी ब्रांड का, क्या उसका प्रेस रिलीज निकालना ज्यादा मायने रखता है, या उस शहर से जुड़ा हुआ कोई लॉन्च ज्यादा मायने रखता है?
See, honestly, there is always, there the demand for the local connect from the local newspapers also, because otherwise, as I explained you earlier, there is always information flow which is coming from the national wire agencies or national editions, which is usually translated and already either the published by them, or if they didn't find it appropriate, they will probably ignore it completely actually. So if there is a local connect, it does help actually to get it published actually, because they'll say that हमारा यहाँ का audience, यहाँ का reader को उससे क्या benefit हो सकता है या क्या connect मिल सकता है उसको. So that is surely important. But we have been advising our clients to be very judicious, and there's we have to look at the category, look at the clientele they want to reach, and then develop a recommendation of PR plan which will work here. You know? At times we just say that please don't do any release or any content, just take a small either advertisement or a paid content in a in the leading most paper. Probably that will serve you much more than spending on going on other things. So the consulting the local partner and taking his advice seriously is very important. Often they are very rigid when it comes from the corporate offices or the CCOs. But it so happened that more than 60-70% cases they realize it later after doing all the tamasha with fanfare actually. Okay.
संदीप जी, क्या ये तमाशा वर्ड्स मैं पूछ रही हूँ कि क्या
हम्म।
आज के दिन की बॉलीवुड सेलिब्रिटीज लेके जाना टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटी में, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? जैसे पहले तो हम ये देखते थे ट्रेंड मेट्रो सिटीज में, फिर हमको
जी
रियलाइज हुआ कि मेट्रो सिटीज में बॉलीवुड के सेलिब्रिटीज भी अल्टीमेटली वो बहुत सारा ले तो आते हैं कवरेज, पर उस कवरेज की बहुत कम वैल्यू होती है। तो कई ब्रांड्स ने अब वो सब बंद कर दिया है यहाँ पे।
जी
तो क्या आपके मुताबिक वो अभी भी टियर 2 टियर 3 में हम रेकमेंड कर सकते हैं क्लाइंट को कि सेलिब्रिटी लाओगे तो ज्यादा कवरेज मिलेगी, ज्यादा मीडिया आएगा कवर करने आपके इवेंट को या आपके लॉन्च को?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, सेलिब्रिटी का थोड़ा चलन है यहाँ पे। वो आती है, थोड़ा माइलेज मिलता है उनको, तो मीडिया भी आ जाता है, कवरेज भी अच्छा हो जाता है, उनको पब्लिसिटी भी अच्छी मिल जाती है।
What is your viewpoint on this?
So yes, there is a diminishing utility because the as such the craze for the celebrities has gone down because it has come to the handheld devices, so the accessibility is more important, more with them, and because of the instas and fbs and they are able to converse or they are able to talk or they are able to see them on a unlike the previous there is probably 10 years before, then it was not accessible to that actually. Okay. So I've seen in the hotels where the cinema stars are staying there. Earlier there used to be big crowd outside the hotel कि उसकी कब एक glance मिलेगी, और अभी ये है कि 10 आदमी भी उसको देखने के लिए वहाँ पे मिलते नहीं कई बार. In the reception also they don't find, and at times they straight away go to their rooms actually. So that kind of craze also has gone down. But as Sandeep said, in these smaller towns or probably tier 3 cities, it may still be working if announced in advance actually. So that may be working well. Like so.
और आपके मुताबिक ब्लॉगर्स नहीं चलते हैं वहाँ पे? क्योंकि मैंने अपनी आंखों से एक दिल्ली की ब्लॉगर को देखा है इन चंडीगढ़, और उसको मिलने के लिए लाइन लगी हुई थी लड़कियों की। हर लड़की
So,
को उसके साथ फोटो खिंचवानी थी। इट वाज
mhm.
लाइक मैं दीपिका पादुकोणे के साथ आ रखी हूँ आज, यू नो।
So bloggers are gaining popularity indeed, and fan following, a number of friends, a number of the followers does prove that actually. So when they say that they are going to particular joint or they are going to particular city, I'm sure there are enough followers to meet them also. In the smaller towns, the local funny videos created out of the product or out of the local, they gain more popularity via WhatsApps and all actually. The written blogs
सो
are
डोंट यू थिंक
still
व्हाट्सएप इज प्लेइंग, लाइक व्हाट्सएप एक बहुत बड़ा मीडियम हो गया है स्मॉल टाउन्स में न्यूज़ कम्युनिकेशन का?
absolutely without doubt, without doubt.
तो आपके मुताबिक पीआर, हम अपने पीआर कैंपेन में व्हाट्सएप को कैसे इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हैं? क्या हम, क्योंकि देखिए हमने ट्रेडिशनली हम प्रेस रिलीज करते हैं, हम पॉडकास्ट करते हैं, हम टीवी करते हैं, हम फीचर आर्टिकल्स करते हैं, ब्लॉगर्स करते हैं, पर व्हाट्सएप को न्यूज़ में कैसे कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं?
So it has to be a mix of it. First of all, to begin with, to reach out to the reporters and editors and the mass media, WhatsApp has become very handy, and they also probably are seeing less on the emails and more on the WhatsApps actually. And obviously, the convenience is there of wherever they are, they can see it. They need not to be hooked to the laptop or a computer desktop anywhere. Okay? And then to add to that, from the copying or using the same material on the WhatsApp itself, they are able to file also. Okay, the quality of visual has taken backseat now, and even newspapers are publishing the photos or the videos. Even the televisions also, regional television especially, are using the videos circulated on the WhatsApps also. Yes. So that's one part of it. That's to how to reach out to them, and it's how it's helping into reaching out to them. But more importantly, as you said, how to use it as a news medium. So what happens is at times it's not a press release or anything, but if you circulate an important aspect of it, it generates the interest of the relevant people or some media people. So it becomes a news, and then they want to ponder it out or they want to further it out. Then it helps you in creating. It's one way of indirect pitch with them actually. So that also helps in getting the traction, which otherwise
So, yeah.
either because they are not accessible or you are rejected because of, that somebody has not read it actually. Sorry, we lost your voice.
हाँ, सॉरी, उनका नेटवर्क तंग कर रहा है संदीप जी का, सो आई एम गोना आस्क यू,
Yes.
आपके मुताबिक रीजनल मीडिया में अब पोस्ट कोविड 2022 में क्या सबसे बड़े ट्रेंड्स आ रहे हैं अब?
So the changes are very, the consolidation of the media is happening. Unlike पहले जो 25 30 50 मीडिया होते थे उसमें से as I can see many of them are dying the natural or unnatural death, and focused communications are now gaining it, and you cannot take them granted like earlier used to do कि भाई तो छोटे शहर में इतना ज़्यादा आपको explain करने या detail करने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. No, that's not anymore actually. You have to really justify to get something covered as a PR material actually. Otherwise it will go into the marketing section, and then there will be a price tag to that actually. Okay.
एक मैं आपसे बड़ा डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन पूछने वाली हूँ, क्या आपको लगता है कि छोटे शहरों में या टियर 2 टियर 3 में मार्केटिंग सेक्शन ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट हैं? क्योंकि मुझे जो ट्रेंड दिखता है इन माय पीआर करियर, वो ये दिखता है कि पहले ना बहुत बड़ी-बड़ी कवरेज आती थी, बड़े मज़े से आ जाती थी, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती थी। आज के दिन बहुत रीजनल पब्लिकेशंस पे बहुत ज़्यादा मार्केटिंग मैंडेट्स दे हैव इम्पोज्ड। So do you think that today, in today's time, the tier 2 and tier 3 has become more difficult than metro cities because of the marketing mandates?
I would agree to that point actually, because the control of marketing sections and half of the time in the regional papers or these category B or C papers, the owner-driven editorship is there. Okay, so owner is the editor, owner is the marketing director, so they are able to, censor it or control it the way you are. I mean, if there is no channel below for you to even have a pitch or even have a the uh, professional approach to them actually. So it's either accepted or rejected. There's nothing in between. Yeah. So you have to be very very um, I would say careful in your communications if you want to get it through on the basis of the merit of the announcement or the release what you are having it actually.
Okay, thank you. संदीप जी, आपको लगता है कि आपको क्या लगता है कि आपके शहर में क्या बेस्ट तरीका है आज के ज़माने में पीआर, अच्छी पीआर करने का?
बेस्ट तरीका तो बेटा वही है कि क्लाइंट को किसी तरह से जो भी बोल रहा है क्लाइंट उसका आउटपुट देना है, और प्रिंट मीडिया से ही बेस्ट रिजल्ट आ सकता है फिलहाल अभी तो। यहाँ के जो शहर की जो तासीर है उसके हिसाब से बता रहा हूँ मैं आपसे।
तो वो आप क्या कहते हैं, आपको लगता है कि प्रेस रिलीज ही बेस्ट रहता है या प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बेस्ट रहता है आपके मुताबिक?
ये दोनों दोनों ही कर सकते हैं, उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है, दोनों हो जाता है तो कवरेज आ जाता, मीडिया को माइलेज, क्लाइंट को माइलेज मिल जाता है उसमें।
ऑलराइट, सो अब आप शैलेश जी, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, डू यू थिंक कि हम जैसे इन मेट्रो सिटीज वी सी कि हम यहाँ पे फीचर स्टोरीज भी कर सकते हैं, गिफ्टिंग स्टोरीज हो जाती हैं, बहुत सीजनल स्टोरीज बहुत हो जाती हैं, क्या आपको लगता है कि टियर 2 टू टियर 3 सिटीज में सिर्फ प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस ही चलती है बेस्ट या प्रेस रिलीज ही बेस्ट चलती है? आपके मुताबिक, क्योंकि कोई इतना तो फीचर्स मीडिया तो है नहीं, वीकेंड सेक्शंस भी अब नहीं है वहाँ पे, तो व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि बेस्ट तरीका क्या है आज के दिन?
Yes. So the press releases still work. Press conferences must be reserved for the important and big announcement, large announcement. You can't do press conference at the drop of coffee or opening of a salon. You're just calling them people there actually. So it doesn't gel well with the, especially with the mainline media actually nowadays. Yes, and the select and targeted approach with the, even with the smaller publication where you have 4 5 people working with them, so they feel privileged, they feel okay, okay, there's a good interaction possibility happening, it is welcomed, and it does work actually, it does work.
ओके, सो आप अपने क्लाइंट्स को कैसे एडवाइस करते हैं, या आप कैसे अपने क्लाइंट्स के लिए कवरेज का, हाउ डू यू डू दिस, लाइक व्हाट आर द बेस्ट वेज फॉर यू, एज पर यू, टू मेंटेन पीआर फॉर द क्लाइंट्स इन टियर 2 एंड टियर 3 सिटीज? ये मैंडेट्स आते हैं हमें क्लाइंट से कि भैया हमको एक्स अमाउंट ऑफ कवरेज हर क्वार्टर चाहिए, इन जोग्राफीज में चाहिए, इस सिटी में चाहिए, तो अकॉर्डिंग टू यू व्हाट इज द बेस्ट वे टू गेट द पीआर?
So the it's always good to be candid and give an honest opinion after seeing what is the announcement is actually. So we normally go through the release or whatever they want to announce about, and then we tell them, "Okay, sir, ये काम करेगा, ये नहीं करेगा. This will not work." And even if you insist, and we go ahead with that, you will be responsible, not me. What happens to that actually? So they have to be very in an accepting mode, saying uh, on the advice or the recommendations of the local partners, which is very important in order to avoid the disputes later. Actually, okay.
You had mentioned you've started a digital division also, right?
Yes, this is
What is
no,
this digital division all about? Like, इतना digital है small towns में? Is it?
no, no. We are actually no more focused on the small towns. We are having national clans also, regional clans also. So it is the part of the package for the online reputation management. So we do give them, and there are enough online editions available now, and so if we give them a package, we are able to give them कि okay, इतना print possibility है, इतना digital possibility है. So it's like giving more value for money for them actually, and also a compensatory this thing कि okay, print में शायद इतना नहीं आएगा, but then digital will be able to help you, support you that way.
So when you say digital, what are the digital mediums that you target?
Yes. So there are all 3 parts are there. One is the social media management, which happens anyway for the client or for the other people, which includes the Facebook management or Insta post and all those things. The other is the online news portals and online editions of the newspapers. Okay. And the third is going into the next level of let's say for the Google presence or for the Wikipedias or for the the authored articles and columns and all those things.
Very interesting. और इसी बात से इंस्पायर होके one of our audiences has sent another question for you, and you were mentioning this to me also when we were speaking before the session. So बहुत सारे नए ब्रांड्स हम देख रहे हैं इंडिया में जो टियर 2 एंड टियर 3 में एक्चुअली कंसेप्चुलाइज हो रहे हैं, और वो स्टार्टअप्स हैं, and they are originating from tier 2 and tier 3 cities today. So are they now, because of the demand for PR and it's such a high demand, are they now getting out there into wanting you to be their PR partners and take them to a national platform also? जैसे पहले तो आपके पास शायद सिर्फ मेट्रो सिटीज से क्लाइंट्स आते होंगे, इज इट दैट टुडे टियर 2 सिटीज में जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं, जो न्यू कंपनीज हो रही हैं, एमएसएमईज बन रहे हैं, क्या उनको भी नेशनल पीआर आउटरीच चाहिए होता है आप लोगों से?
Yes, definitely they are looking for startups. Almost every week we have 3 to 5 startups working into that. So our assessment says that if they're filling a gap, and if they are they have reached to certain critical parameters, then we can talk about there's a unique idea into that. If it's not just another Me Too or another the which is trying to copy and become a marketplace or the market aggregator, then it becomes difficult. And then we tell them, we are not saying that your idea is good or bad, but get the critical mass. By that time, you will be able to attract people. Because as I was telling you, everyone wants funding in the first 6 months itself, seed funds, lagakar, everything. So that's not possible for them, for us also. But
So, question
MSME,
from Mike.
MSMEs, yes, MSMEs are requiring good attention actually, because
Yeah.
that has been a neglected lot actually. So there are sector, or there are industry stories, or there are features which uh, encompassing them, we can definitely look at creating visibility for them. It may not be very often, but it is possible.
So, just out from my curiosity, does funding news get carried in tier two, tier three papers also? Because यहाँ पे हमारे यहाँ हमने देखा है स्टार्टअप सेक्टर में फंडिंग इज अ बिग न्यूज, हर जगह आता है, ऑनलाइन आता है, नेशनल पोर्टल्स में आता तो जरूर है, पर क्या वो छोटे पेपर भी इसको उठाते हैं? अगर आप भेजते हैं, क्या उनके पे भी आज के दिन सेक्शंस हैं फंडिंग के लिए, स्टार्टअप के लिए?
Sections nahi hai, because they hardly have halfway page or one page devoted to the commercial news or business news actually. But a good and happy shift is that in the local city pages, even Times of India, so they have city pages, 3 or 4 city pages. So if there is a city based startup or any of the state, then it gets featured into that place actually. So some, it serves their purpose, and once they are into that league, the other news portals like Venture VC Circle or Venture Capital, they also pick it up at times. But yes, the amount has to be sufficient enough. 20 lakh may not be the news, but 2 crore may be picked up. Yes.
फेयर इनफ। संदीप जी, आपसे एक सवाल करना है मेरे को।
जी
दुनिया में हम, स्पेशली इंडिया में, हम बहुत हायरिंग देख रहे हैं स्टार्टअप सेक्टर की वजह से, बहुत ज़्यादा मार्केट में फर्मेंट आ चुका है। क्या आपको टैलेंटेड लोग हायर करने, क्योंकि पीआर इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड काम है, इसमें बहुत सारे स्किल सेट्स चाहिए होते हैं, तो क्या
जी
आपको आज के दिन ये काम करने में आपको क्या लोग मिलते हैं? आप हायरिंग कर पाते हैं छोटे शहरों से? आपको अच्छे लोग मिलते हैं जो समझते हैं इसको?
बिल्कुल मिल जाते हैं। अब पीआर के बारे में बहुत काफ़ी लोग जानने लग गए हैं। पहले पीआर क्या होता है, पहले लोग जानते नहीं थे। अब पीआर का स्कोप बहुत बढ़ गया है, तो लोग मिल जाते हैं। लोग पढ़ाई भी कर रहे हैं उसकी, और इंटर्नशिप करने के लिए भी आते हैं, तो हो जाता है मतलब।
Shailesh, what about you? Do you think that you're getting enough manpower to, talented, skilled people? Because we are noticing big cities में growth बहुत हो रही है because of the COVID. Lot of people went to their hometown. So आज के दिन hiring talent is becoming a very big challenge everywhere. तो आपके मुताबिक आप हायर और उनको ट्रेन कैसे कर पाते हैं?
So the number of colleges or number of universities which are offering the journalism, mass communication, advertising, and all are increasing, and in many cities there are at least 3 to 5 colleges actually. So at times we do get good candidates or good students who are having a spark in them. So we have a continuous process of taking interns also, and once the interns are there, in a month or two we are able to assess them. Okay, this seems to be a material for further growth. So that also helps us actually. And we normally do not take from the any other agency. We have our own culture, so we prefer to groom on our own level actually. So on the job training of course is the best, so it happens that way also. And in the initial probation period they are attached to the seniors, and they get the exposure and training for that purpose. Colleges, yes, even I go to take colleges guest lectures and all. So they are also on the basis of the conversations and question and answer. If we spot talent, we invite them all. Okay, once you finish this, welcome, or you invited for the internships as well.
ओके, मैं आप लोगों से 10 मिनट बचे हैं एक्चुअली हमारी चैट के, तो मेरा टाइम थोड़ा अब कम हो गया है। तो मैं आप लोगों से 3 चीज़ें पूछना चाहती हूँ कि एक वो हमारी रीजनल पीआर स्ट्रैटेजी, लोकलाइज पीआर में ज़रूर होनी चाहिए, और 3 चीज़ें जो बिल्कुल हमें अवॉइड करनी चाहिए। तो संदीप जी, मैं आपके साथ शुरू करूँगी। क्या 3 चीज़ें
जी
हैं वो जो आपकी पीआर स्ट्रैटेजी में ज़रूर होनी चाहिए? संदीप जी का नेटवर्क आ गया. शैलेश जी, can you please take that forward?
So the regional flavor, regional language, and the substance. These three should definitely there. There must be a local connect, as I told you, in order to get better coverages into the newer market. Actually, ये तीन चीजें जरूर होनी चाहिए. English is very few takers, so they should be limited to that. And too much of technical or too much of explanation, it doesn't work actually. It has to be in a simple, specified language, so that user-friendly language, I would say, it should remain to that level. And the benefits must be explained in a lucid way, so that the acceptability, the coverage possibility goes up actually from that side. And of course, last but not the least, the while you must maintain the relationship, you should also come across as the professional knowledge based information provider.
Thank you for that, शैलेश जी. Very helpful. संदीप जी, आपके मुताबिक?
जैसा शैलेश जी ने बताया, रिलेशनशिप को मेंटेन करना है, नॉलेज है, यही है, बाकी तो नया कुछ भी नहीं इसमें.
Today there is a national brand and they want to formulate a successful PR strategy. Do you feel that with tier 2 and tier 3 it should be a mix of, say, blogger meets, events and press releases, and एक क्वार्टर में आप उनको कैसे एडवाइस करेंगे?
So we will say all the three are important. When you just can't believe, depend on the getting enough visibility from the newspaper alone. You have to have events. You have to have the ground activations, and also the penetration by way of the either the audiovisual medium or by way of, as I explained you, from the small video films which can be kept into the viral mode or specific mode actually. And of course, the discounts and the incentives work very well in the smaller towns. So that should be a part and parcel of the incentives must be embedded into the communications or for the local announcement.
So one more question that I want to ask is कि हम ये जो क्लाइंट्स हैं आपके, वो क्या मीडिया लैंडस्केप समझ पाते हैं ये वाला? ये कोई अच्छे केस स्टडीज आप हमें बता सकते हैं, कुछ अच्छे सक्सेसफुल कैंपेन जो आपके मुताबिक अच्छे से चलते हैं और उन्होंने कुछ सही करा, उन्होंने क्या सही करा फॉर दिस?
So there are good brands which have understood it actually, and they have used the regional medium languages in a very meaningful and useful way actually. So if you look at one brand of the let's say which we have worked with is like rice and basin. Okay, so if the connect was with the local flavor with the local language, it helped them to gain immediate acceptance into the market penetration, and also the good coverage also, even if it was a marketing announcement, but it was very well accepted. At the same time, there was an international marketplace brand which came, and they came with their usual understanding of or unusual understanding of them. They could not make it actually, despite having had spent a lot of money. So they did the ground activation events also, but nothing, no meaningful outcomes came actually.
से एक सवाल है, क्या आपको लगता है कि वीडियो कंटेंट बहुत हाई हो गया है टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटीज में, थैंक्स टू व्हाट्सएप नेटवर्क्स एंड फेसबुक एंड सोशल मीडिया? क्या हम अपने पीआर स्ट्रैटेजी में वायरलिटी, आपने शायद बात भी करी थी इसकी, क्या वायरलिटी की बहुत डिमांड होती है आपके क्लाइंट से टियर 2 और टियर 3 में?
Yes. So it has become the additional medium for reaching out to people. Actually, it's part of digital. It's part of your communication strategy. So small snippets which are good to share, and with if we are able to connect, put a local context also into that, that gets very widely circulated actually. and it cuts across the sections.
और क्या ऑब्वियसली वो वीडियोस शुड बी इन लैंग्वेज, तो लैंग्वेज का बहुत फर्क पड़ता है हर हर जगह पे, राइट?
Certain. It does. It does.
सो
And even
बेसिकली सक्सेसफुल
you
भी
can,
यार कि हाँ
there's
जी।
a layer you can attach with that. So there's a specific number of people you can reach, but beyond that, if you have to reach, yeah, it has to be into the local language.
कई बार हमारे को ना बहुत आजकल ये सवाल पूछा जाता है कि मेजरमेंट कैसे करते हैं आप एक अच्छे कैंपेन का। तो अकॉर्डिंग टू यू शैलेश जी, एक ऑब्वियसली हर प्रिंट पब्लिकेशन के सर्कुलेशंस ऑफ कोर्स कम ही हो गए हैं, दे हैव नॉट रिजन। तो क्या उसकी वजह उसमें आप ये व्हाट्सएप वीडियोस एंड ऑल भी अब ऐड करने लगे हैं टू गेट मोर नंबर्स?
Yes. So the measurement, honestly speaking, still remains a gray area. Okay, the old school thoughts still goes. We have the equivalent PR values. We still give them basis the advertising rates and all those things. Actually, in terms of digital, it's difficult, but at a little longer period, the marketing people or other people, when they get the sales registers or the dealer or retailer connect, and the feedback comes from them, then it makes that it's working. Yes.
So basically it is all about local connect more than anything else. आप एक young PR professional जिसका हो सकता है हमारी बहुत बड़ी ऑडियंस है, जो आपको ज्वाइन करना चाहे आज के दिन आपके कंपनीज को, उनको क्या एडवाइस देंगे आप?
So, first of all, they have to get the basics. Then you have to understand how the media is functioning. You have to keep abreast of the situation, because s- remaining contemporary is not enough. What's coming also you have to see. So, if you are able to see, which of course your seniors and your study will help actually, then definitely it can make a difference actually. And for working into the regional market, they have to. I've seen even the young students of journalism or mass communication not even reading newspapers, which is the worst thing it can happen. You don't know what kind of stories are coming, so you won't get the idea of how to pitch about or what can be recommended to the client actually. So it's very important to at least read one journal paper, one business paper, or keep your eyes on the regional editions of the online editions of the newspaper and see the content. I'm not saying that you get addicted, but at least remain aware of what's happening in the market and what kind of stories are coming up actually. Then only you will be able to recommend that for this market, probably this kind of things can make differences actually. And approach has to be professional. Approach has to be knowledge based. Relations or a period definitely get built up, but one is on the incentives, is one is on the knowledge base. So that's where the differential relationship will come work to you, and a relationship which is developed basis coming across as a knowledgeable person lasts longer than anything.
संदीप जी, आप क्या देखते हैं बच्चों में जो आते हैं आजकल आपके पास जॉब के लिए?
वो एजुकेशन लेके आते हैं, पीआर इंडस्ट्री से पढ़ी करके आते हैं, तो वो क्लाइंट के ऊपर फोकस करना है, मार्केट को कैसे डेवलप करना है, ये देखते हैं।
Thank you so much, Shailesh ji and Sandeep ji.
जी।
Very helpful session. Shailesh ji, कोई तरीके हैं इस फोरम के बाद भी हमारे पास कई बार ओवर द वीकेंड लोग आते हैं, they see our sessions and they may see this on YouTube or on Facebook. So in case they have more questions to ask you,
I'll be
uh,
happy. I'll be happy
please
to.
feel free to answer them on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. संदीप जी, अगर आपको कोई एड्रेस करे क्वेश्चन या कोई जेनरिक क्वेश्चन पूछे और आपको लगे
जी, जी,
आप
जी।
उसका जवाब देना चाहते हैं, तो प्लीज फील फ्री टू डू सो। एंड
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
थैंक यू, आप दोनों ने आज टाइम निकाला, इतना
जी,
नॉलेज भी मेरी भी नॉलेज थोड़ी बड़ी है आज, सो इट्स बीन अ वेरी हेल्पफुल सेशन और विशिंग यू बोथ ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
Thank you so much. It is
थैंक
a
यू
ओके।
सो
real pleasure.
मच। थैंक यू। Uh, thank you everyone for joining in for this session. I hope you got a better understanding of regional PR, and please feel free to drop in questions on our Facebook or on our YouTube link. to if they you need more clarity, and we will attempt to get them answered by our panelists who were present today, or to get them to give more advice to you. Thank you.